Om Shiva. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So yesterday I posted a video about meditation. It's not about meditation. I performed live meditation yesterday. And I posted, of course, here on Facebook, and I posted on YouTube with the caption that what could be better than start your birthday. What could be better than start your birthday with meditation? And somebody in the response of that, they sent me a private message and wished me happy birthday. And they said August 8 is 8-8 is the gateway to Lion's Portal in a private message they mentioned. I said, yes, thank you first of all for wishing me happy birthday. And I know my spouse made a big post even about mentioning the Lion's Portal and on my page, because she also is a very aware person and very wise person. And I'm just lucky to have such a brilliant, wise, and aware person in my life. So I told this person that and this person also mentioned in the same private message on which they wished me happy birthday. They also mentioned in a private message that what a beautiful coincidence. So of course, I was very grateful and full of gratitude, and I answered them back. And I also mentioned that it's not a coincidence. Are you following what I'm saying to you? It's not a coincidence. I'll leave it to that. There are things I have mentioned to you, that there are things that an average, I'm not saying it with any arrogance, it's just the way it is. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not saying it with any arrogance. I'm not saying it with any arrogance. I'm just letting you know it's just the way it is. I have mentioned that before, that there are things that an average person sees, and there are things that an average person does not see. And I see them both. I see that what an average person sees, and I also see what an average person does not see. Now, it's not the matter of I am better. You have heard of Gautama Siddhartha. Of course, he was a very attractive and brilliant, enlightened human being, and there were a lot of women, and they had a crush on Gautama Siddhartha, the Buddha, enlightened, which is in the light now. Buddha lives there, I know it. Anyway, so Gautama, one of the Raja or Maharaja's wife, Raja had a lot of authority, but of course not on Gautama. You see, Gautama had no fear. And he came to know that his wife has got a crush on Buddha. So he was jealous and he went to Buddha in a rage and shouting that, do you think you are better among us? And Buddha looked at him and Buddha said, I don't ever think that I am better than you. However, I know it for certain that I'm more aware than you. I am more aware than you. You see, awareness is not something, awareness is not something that you do in a timely fashion. I am delivering this message and you everything would connect in the end. Besides, this message is full of liberation, this message is full of truth, and this message is full of wisdom. Awareness is not something that you do in a timely fashion. Awareness is not something that would happen to you in a timely fashion. Awareness is what you are. Buddha saying, I am more aware, it means that he has uncluttered himself and he can see clearly. His awareness is heightened. Today, sun is out. I give this generic example to you that the sun is out. However, imagine if it was full overcast. Are you following my words? Imagine if it was overcast, means the clouds were covering or stopping the sunshine to get to us. Imagine that, hypothetically. But today sun is out. Does this mean if it was overcast and the clouds were stopping the sunshine to get to us, does this mean the sun is not shining? Does this mean that? The answer to that is the sun is shining. Shining is not what sun does. Shining is sun is. There is no shining, there is no sun, isn't it? The sun is shining. But the clouds are stopping the sunlight to get to us. Just like that, awareness or self-awareness or pure consciousness is always there. It's always shining its light. But because of a lot of things, mostly fear, most people don't get to live that way. So as I said, as you are following since I started this video, mostly fear. You see, fear is playing a very negative role in our society. Fear is creating doubts in humans. Fear is creating paranoia in humans. You see, just two words, what if, can really screw or mess with somebody's life. You know that? Because fear gives birth to paranoia and then it progresses, it grows. But fear grows in obscurity. Fear grows when you don't look at life as it is happening. Fear grows when you are scared of the bodily demise. People are so scared of the bodily demise, they do a lot of wacky things in order to avoid even the topic of bodily demise. Now, mind you, I did not say death because I know for certain there is no such thing as that. I know for certain. We are not going to go into it that how do I know for certain. Anyway, I know for certain there is no such thing as death. Yes, there is such thing as bodily demise. You see, so people try to even avoid a topic. This, what I'm saying to you, people, they try to avoid and they do a lot of efforts. They put a lot of efforts. They do a lot of activity to hush hush or shh let's not talk about it. You see, uh, and they say, shh, let's not talk about it. Let's keep it quiet. It's not a good topic. And it's the big elephant in the room that everyone is saying, shh, ignore the elephant. You see, if you are ignoring the elephant, it does not mean elephant is going to move somewhere. It's going to stay where it is, right there, right. It's not going to move because you fear or try to avoid. Are you following what I'm saying to you? I'm liberating you. I'm giving you pure wisdom. Elephant is going to be there whether you look at elephant and accept the way it is, or you get scared of it. Either way is going to be there. What I am saying to you, in other words, we all, when all of us, no one has ever escaped, when we come to this planet, we come with an expiry date. Whether we want to talk about the expiry date, or whether we want to avoid expiry date, or whether we do enormous amount of activities, mostly fear and paranoia, to live in a cocoon and avoid, or what the word I'm looking for, try to avoid the topic. You see, whether we accept it and really look into it, that what is happening, or we do our level best and perform all type of activities to avoid the topic and life and live in the cocoon. You understand? But all of us, every single one of us, comes with an expiry date. You see, it's just that we don't want to talk about the expiry date. Whether we accept it and look into it, that would bring us liberation, and we would feel lighter, and we would have no fear in us. You understand? Or we can do shh, shh, hush, hush. Either way, the expiry date is not going to move. You understand what I'm saying to you? It's your choice. In other words, I'm saying you have two choices. One choice number one is you can conduct the very life process with awareness. And number two, you can conduct the very life process without it. If you conduct the life process with awareness, you are joyful. You see, Lord Krishna, he fought numerous wars, but he remained totally peaceful and totally joyful inside him. So when you accept things as they are, then you remain joyful in the process. It's all about the process. It's all about the journey. But when you do not accept it and try to avoid it by any means possible, then you remain miserable in the process. Either way, we all are heading to the same direction. Is this true or it's not true? I am trying to make it is as simple in in such a simpler way that it's literally impossible for humans to not comprehend my words. You understand? And even so, if you have questions about what I'm saying, you can always private message me. If you are too shy, or if you are too concerned about your reputation, you see. Anyway, so what happens basically is you can conduct the very process of life either consciously, or you can you can conduct the very process of life unconsciously. If you conduct it with awareness, you remain joyful. You understand what's happening. And if you have no awareness, then you become scared and you have fear. You see, either way, we are heading to that direction. Please know that. Whether you remain joyful or you remain paranoid and scared, either way, the destination is the same. No matter how hard you look at it, you cannot argue that. That's why I say I'm giving you pure wisdom. Wisdom is when you cannot argue. The fact, the truth is so concrete that you cannot argue the fact, that you cannot argue the truth of it. As I said, I told you, truth is silent. Truth does not come with words. But the truth I'm telling you is wisdom. And it cannot be refuted no matter how hard you look at it. Either way, we are heading to the same direction. So, in smartness, in intelligence, and in wisdom, as a matter of fact, we only have one option, which is to conduct the process of life consciously so we can remain happy in the process no matter what happens. You understand? No matter what happens, no matter how severe that is, no matter how severe or threatening of a situation is, you always remain joyful and playful because you see the bigger picture of things, not the smaller picture. The one who sees the smaller picture is always, uh, unfortunately, not only the person is miserable, but also the person is paranoid, and also the person is scared. You see, unfortunately, if the person does not conduct the very process of life with awareness, if the person does not, then the person remains paranoid, the person has fear. I met a monk, you see. Anyway, I met a monk, you see. He came to visit me. Uh, I want to see how smart you are if you get on it. So he came to visit me, and he took the shirt off because we were going to jump into the pool, and on his chest there was a tattoo, and the tattoo said "Live fully." You see, and I looked at him and I said, "Why don't you tell me what does that mean?" And he was a little aware of me, and he knew me a little more than an average person. So he kept smiling and he tried to dodge the question because he had the awareness. The question I'm asking, I already know the answer, and I could see that right on his face. I could see through him. You see, anyway. So and I have you. So as you have noticed, my body, of course, when I'm in a traditional Indian dress of a Swami or a yogi, Hindu more precisely, and I take a lot of pride on it. You see, and certain parts, of course, you can see. You see, and these parts are the ones mostly people get the tattoos on, precisely arms. You see, a live free, family, or Rita, or any number of lovers, or the spouse name, or any number of those things. People get the tattoo. For me, my perception, I don't have any judgment. It's your body, it's your life. Go right ahead if you want to paint yourself. For me, my take The way I perceive it, or my take, is if you get a tattoo, of course, it's not going to go away once you get a real one. You see, it stays over there. It must mean something to you. You see, are you following what I'm saying to you? If you get a tattoo, that's my. It must. Must means there is an intensifier in what I am saying. You understand? Intensifier. I am intensifying my statement by using the word must. It must mean something to me personally. So personal that it does not even involve my family. Personally, something which has no ties attached to it, which has no bands attached to it. It must mean something like that. You see this? So when I get a tattoo, if I carried on for that long, and if I had enough finances, and if I would get a tattoo, this would be my tattoo, and this would be right here. You see, that means something to me. So this guy, the tattoo was live fully, you see. And I said, why don't you go ahead and tell me what does that mean? And he smiled and tried to dodge the question. I repeated myself for the second time, and I said, why don't you go ahead and tell me what it means to live fully? And he said to me, it means live fully. Yes, it means live fully. So I again looked at him. Uh, I again looked at him, and I said to him that, can you tell me what it means? And he said, as I said, live fully. He's moving his hands. He's being very expressive with the motions and all that. And I said, that's what the word says, but word encompasses a meaning. You understand what I'm saying to you? I said, that's what the words say. But it basically encompasses a meaning. I'm asking you the meanings of it. So I looked at him and I said, okay, we are going to look into it since you have got a tattoo on your chest. And obviously, I have no judgments about it or anything like that. But we are going to look into it, that what it really means to live fully. Does live fully means that you are getting drunk every moment of your life? Does that mean that you are drinking copium or excessive amount of alcohol all the time, and you are pretending that you are living fully? Basically, you are not living fully. You are just doing the otherwise. You are trying to escape. You are trying to avoid the karma, which is, of course, manifesting in terms of the experience right now. And does this live fully means that you abuse or use substances, different type of, God forbid me, drugs and whatnot? Does that mean to use that and pretend that living fully, damaging your body, and the body has an intelligent system of its own? If we do not damage our body with numerous type of addictions, there is a chance that we can live fully. you know there is a chance then we can live fully. Believe me, I'm not kidding with you. So yeah, so does that mean living fully? No, of course not. Or you are having different type of addictions in physical relationships, in sex, in one night stands or what not. You see, when I speak with you, I speak very openly. So does that mean living fully, or you are developing different type of addictions, such as addiction to food? Some people have addiction to food. They are just eating compulsion. They are compulsively eating. And creating all type of diseases. Some people have addiction to sex, food. Some people have addiction to video games. You see, all that video games, all these addictions. You see, all these addictions are there so you can avoid life. So when you are avoiding life by all these means, it means it's obvious that the very process of life that you are avoiding is indicating that you are not living fully. But if you do what really it means to live fully, it means that now you have cut all the attachments towards everything. You see, towards addictions. You have transcended yourself. Then there is a chance that you are living fully. Addictions, no matter what addiction that is, towards alcohol, towards food, or video games, you see, no matter what the addiction is, addiction towards something means there is a weakness. You depend on something. And you, of course, are trying to escape the very process of your life. So it does not mean living fully. This I was explaining that to him, but I remembered this morning, and the Brahman said, "Son, go ahead and just deliver that message. Don't keep it inside. You see, just go ahead and deliver this message." So here I am talking to you after talking to Brahman. Anyway, so I'm delivering the message, and I just remember it happened quite a few months back or something. So I said, "Does that mean living fully?" And I said, "Living fully means you have cut all the attachments. Now you have transcended from your addictions. You are facing life as it is happening, but not escaping. This means living fully. Living fully does not mean that you are hiding in a room and you are trying to avoid life just because you are scared that you would go out and something just may happen. It does not mean living fully. Until we understand, really, all of us, it goes for all of us, till we understand completely, until we understand fully that what is bodily demise, we cannot live fully. You see, this is one of the most concrete fact that we know for sure, if you understand what I'm saying to you. And it is one of the concrete fact that each one of us knows, and we have, each one of us has that in common, which is the bodily demise. Till you fully understand what is bodily demise, you cannot live fully. I can bet my life on it. You see, in order to live fully, we all of us must realize what bodily demise, or most people understand death is. You see, we must accept it is the most concrete fact that there is, and yet we are not able to come to terms with that fact. The sooner we are able to come to terms with that fact, the sooner we are free, you see, because we understand everything. We understand that life does never end. Yeah, accumulation. This is, you have borrowed from the planet. You see, planet has given you a loan. This is a loan that planet has given you. You have borrowed this from the planet. And when the time comes, without even making any drama about it, since I have awareness, I would just leave what I have borrowed from the planet, you see. And planet, of course, wouldn't let me go till it receives, molecule by molecule, atom by atom. It's a promise from planet to me, and I believe in that promise. It would not let me leave. It would get it back. But what I essentially am would move on, you see, and I would not make a drama about it. I have seen people, there are people. Have you ever noticed how we humans, when the time comes, how dramatic and how with how many sentiments we are passing on? It's ridiculous. I'm not saying it with any judgments, you understand? I'm not downplaying people's sentiments or their emotions. I'm not attacking that. Do not just get into a bandwagon. You see, look at things that they are happening. I'm not doing all that. I'm trying to show you that if we yogis, sages, or the wise people do not speak about these facts, it would always remain hidden. And people would not realize what they are doing, you see. We humans, when the time for us comes, we are dying with a lot of sentiments. Even after that, we are in a stress that I wonder if the person would know that I have died, or how many peoples are coming for my funeral, or I wonder if my last paycheck would come into my account. I mean, even after dying, the drama is going on, you see. um so the more attachments we have, the more attachments to these are all attachments, isn't it? Are these not attachments? It's attachment. The money is attachment, the reputation is attachment, the relatives are attachment. These are all attachments. And these, if the attachments, the body is shed, but the attachments is something that can be felt but cannot does not have a physical appearance, but it's very much there. So we have these attachments, and even after we shed the body, we are thinking about these attachments. The more attachments we have, the longer it will take for us to find an other body. Are you following fully what I'm saying to you? The more attachments we have, the longer it will take for all of us to find another body for the next lifetime, for the next carnation. That that being actually lingers. It's a limbo position. It's a limbo. The person is in a limbo. The person is lingering. And it may not be very pleasant, by the way, just so you know that. The being is in limbo. It just depends that how you have lived your entire life. It just depends that how we all have lived our entire life, myself included. You see, I'm not better. I'm just trying to show you a more clear picture. Myself included among all the people. It just depends how we have lived our life. How we have lived our life would become the part of our tendency. When we shed the body, such a being would progress by the tendency. You see. Anyway, so you understand, I told this fella, I said, my brother from another father. You see, I looked at him and I said, my brother from another father. Um, this means that we are living fully. And he was baffled. And even though he knew a little about me, but he was baffled. I mean, literally, like his eyes were like boom. And he's like, yes, of course, I cannot hold a candle to you or in front of you. I said, look, do not, I'm not telling you all this so I can get attention from you and compliments from you. I said, I don't seek anything. I'm trying to liberate you. That's why I'm here for. That is the most important thing, and that's the purpose. I am here on the planet. If we come here on the planet, not for very, we means now I am talking about the yogis or the monks or the Hindu monks or the Hindu saints or whoever you see. Um, some of those, they come on planet for a small period of time, not long, you see, and they bring clarity for people's they bring clarity in people's perception. they bring clarity. So I told this fella, I said, please do not compliment me. Please think or just focus to what I'm saying to you. It would liberate you. And of course, since then, they are following me here. They don't miss a single video. And of course, they know that I am mentioning, of course, the demographics, the name, the gender, all that I don't ever mention because out of respect. And plus, it serves no purpose. Just the being, mentioning it's a being or a person, that's it. That's important. And they are very happy. You see, they're very, very happy. Um, I would give you, I would tell you a story. It's a real story. It means that it really happened. You see the picture here. I have explained that person. This person is Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa or Sri Ramakrishna Paramansaya, however you want to pronounce it. Sri Ramakrishna Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa or Sri Ramakrishna Paramansaya was a Hindu saint and he was a mystic, you see. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa or Sri Ramakrishna Paramansaya was a Hindu saint and a mystic. Do you understand? I have told you what a mystic is, a Hindu saint. This person right here. He, on the age of either 52 or 56, he passed on with throat cancer. Sri Ramakrishna Paramansaya or Sri Ramakrishna was crystal clear consciousness. You understand? What I'm saying, in other words, this being was extremely potent. This being was extremely powerful being. A being that when you see, you think this person might be crazy, but this person can manifest reality. He was very mighty powerful, crystal clear consciousness, you see. Ramakrishna Paramansaya, it was British Raj, by the way, back in India. Look it up on Google. Nowadays, you can find just about anything on Google. It was British Raj in India. You see British Raj? Have you heard of that? And so Sri Ramakrishna Paramansaya with his disciples and the people who followed and the people who looked up to him, they would be following him. And if you see that guy, you would say, I cannot make anything out of this person. If you looked ever at Sri Ramakrishna Paramansaya, if you ever looked at him in person, of course he passed on a long time ago, but hypothetically, you couldn't make anything out of that person. So Sri Ramakrishna back in British Raj, he would all of a sudden jump out of the vehicle and hold the traffic. You see, because he would start dancing on the street. And he would hold the traffic for numerous hours even. Sri Ramakrishna has Sri Ramakrishna had pastors, a student, Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda was Sri Ramakrishna's student, and Vivekananda was not his real name. It was a title which was given to him by Sri Ramakrishna, and Vivekananda's personality was like, if you only sat in his surroundings, Vivekananda, of course, also passed on. If you only sat as much as in his surroundings and he remained silent, you would feel goosebumps on your skin, and at some point it would be only enough to liberate you, even if he remained silent, even if he didn't speak a single word. However, he loved to speak because of the purpose, the purpose he served. It was necessary. When he spoke English, uh, you can find his real voice on YouTube, Swami Vivekananda. When he spoke English, you would realize that my spouse mentioned that his voice was just like that Lion King Mufasa. You see, uh, the Lion King Mufasa. That's how my spouse said that his voice sounded. Uh, he visited America. Swami Vivekananda visited America in some uh, 1895, and he delivered a speech in Chicago. After that, he remained here for almost 3 years, delivering messages and delivering lectures about yoga, meditation, and bringing clarity in people's perception. So he stayed here for maybe 2, 3 years in America. And one time, Swami Vivekananda, I'm telling you how it is like when you don't have fear, you see, at all. Then you live fully. That tattoo, remember? Remember the tattoo I mentioned on the guy's chest, live fully. That's the answer. I said, this is what happens when you have no fear. So in here in America, one time he was writing something and in a place, and a an American male walked in, kind of barged in, and kind of stood up on Vivekananda's head, and he said, "Do you know who I am?" He asked Vivekananda with a lot of arrogance, and Vivekananda didn't even look at him. He kept writing. He didn't even look. He kept writing. It's not arrogance. It's what boldness or bravery is. He just keep writing on the book. And this guy said, I am John D. Rockefeller. You have heard of Rockefeller family, you see, the rich people. And Swami Vivekananda again didn't even give him a glimpse. And Swami Vivekananda said to this guy that, listen to me. I know what you are. I know who you are. I know what you were in your previous life, and I also know what you are going to be in the next one. You were supposed to be the custodian of the money for people, but not to sit on it like you are. So give people money to people. And Rockefeller just stormed out because he had money and arrogance and all those human stupid, foolish traits of being arrogant, you see. So he walked out, then he brought a following day or the day after some time, he came back and he said that I have started a charity. And I have started a charity as you ask. I have the same John D. Rockefeller told Swami Vivekananda after a few days that I have started a charity for poor and all that. And Vivekananda didn't answer that. Just he was busy in what he was busy. And this Rockefeller guy said, are you not going to thank me? And Vivekananda said, my friend, why should I thank you? You should thank me. I showed you the way. You see, otherwise it was not going to be very pleasant for you. You see, I showed you the way. So this is when you have no fear. This is when you do not, when you absolutely have no fear. Another example of Vivekananda was back in Hindustan, or what we understand as in India, in ancient, Swami Vivekananda was sitting with a Maharaja who was um, Swami Vivekananda was sitting with Maharaja, who of course had authority, and that Maharaja was he had a certain mind frame. The time is getting close for the meditation session, so I'll just wrap it up real quick. So Maharaja was he had a certain frame of mind, even though, and Swami Vivekananda was sitting with him, and Maharaja said, and Maharaja's secretary Divanji, he was also present, and Maharaja was making a point that why so many gods, Swami? Why so many sculptures? Why so many gods? In Hinduism or whatnot, Swami? Why is that? So, Swami Vivekananda, I want you to understand when the person has no fear and the perception or the focus of the person can pierce a stone or a rock. I want you to see that, man. So Swami Vivekananda looked at the Maharaja's secretary, Divanji, who was also present, and he said, Divanji, that's a picture of Maharaja right there. Go ahead and spit on it. Divanji said, "Oh, I cannot do that because because it's the picture. Excuse me. Because it's the picture of Maharaja, and I am his secretary." And Swami Vivekananda said, "Oh no, Maharaja's sitting here. That's his picture. I want you to go ahead and spit on his picture." And he said, "Sir, I know Maharaja is sitting over there, but I cannot still spit on his picture. It's disrespectful." And Swami Vivekananda looked at Maharaja and he said, "Now you got your answer, yeah? The sculptures, these are not that in Hinduism we say God. We consider that a manifestation of the Brahman. You see, just like, and we give respect to that, even though we are knowing the Brahman is not that. Just like Divanji couldn't spit on that particular picture out of respect while you are sitting here. That's why we give respect to all these sculptures and all the statues you see. Is just, we know we have the awareness it's not Brahman, but we still give respect. Just the relation between the divan and the picture is the relation between us and all those gods. Now you get your answer, Maharaja. And of course, Maharaja was speechless, couldn't say anything because that's a brilliant answer. And Swami Vivekananda said that's how we are, we Hindus, and we are not going to apologize for it whatsoever.